Over the years, Babylon 5 has had 5 seasons, 6 made-for-TV movies, and even a spin-off TV show. But did you know that Babylon 5 was pretty close to getting a theatrical film release in the early 2000s? My name is CaptRobau, and this is the story of Babylon 5, The Memory of Shadows. First off, to give you that cinematic feeling, I've gotten permission from Tom Smith to use his recreated Babylon 5 effect shots to help illustrate the story of Memory of Shadows. Be sure to check out Tom's channel for more HD Babylon 5 VFX footage. Special thanks also go out to Rich Drees. Without his meticulously researched article on Memory of Shadows, I could not have made this video. I have linked to both in the description. While Babylon 5 had never been a huge hit, it had built a devoted community around itself in the years after first airing in 1994. By the turn of the century, it was tough being a Babylon 5 fan, however. The spin-off series Crusade was cancelled in 1999, before its 13 completed episodes had even aired. And the second spin-off series, The Legend of the Rangers, didn't get off the ground either, as its 2-hour-long pilot had scored low ratings opposite an NFL playoff game in early 2002. All hope seemed lost for Babylon 5. That changed when in 2003, J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of Babylon 5, was approached by a production company who wanted to make a Babylon 5 feature film. Even though Warner Bros. Owned almost all the rights to the show, Straczynski had cleverly held on to the franchise's motion picture rights. As a result, when he was asked about making a Babylon 5 picture, he was ecstatic. He was hired to create a screenplay, which he completed by the end of the year. As 2003 rolled over into 2004, the production company moved into securing financial backing for the movie. Warner Bros. Became involved and the film moved on to the next phase. The Babylon 5 cast was contacted and deals were discussed. Straczynski turned in his second draft of the movie by September. Stages were reserved at London's Elstree Studios, where George Lucas had shot most of the original Star Wars trilogy back in the 70s and 80s. The movie even got a director locked in, Stephen Beck, best known for 13 Ghosts and Ghost Ship. Beck was a director who had a background in special effects, and thus would be a good fit for the effects-heavy film. So what would have been the plot of this movie? The Memory of Shadows would have focused on a new character named Diane Baker. She would have been a decorated Earth Force intelligence agent. These plainclothes investigators were seen a few times in the series. While no actress was cast for the role of Diane, it makes sense that it would be someone with a more established name to help him bring more than just fans of the show. Because I need to show off someone, I'm using Gillian Anderson, who played Agent Scully in The X-Files, which is a similar role. The story starts out with Diane on a video call with her brother, captain of the Earth Force cruiser Hermes. She has to watch helplessly as the ship is attacked, killing her brother and the rest of the crew. When Earth Force declares the ship lost due to an engine accident, she suspects a cover-up. Agent Baker travels to the Mars colony on her quest to find out the truth about the attack. There, she meets a contact who informs her that someone on Babylon 5 has information that could lead her to the truth about what happened. In addition, she has a brief encounter with a mysterious cloaked man. When Diane arrives at Babylon 5, she meets the station's commander, Captain Lockley. Lockley and Diane's brother had been in a relationship and were even thinking of getting married. So when Diane asks for help, Lockley promises to assist in the investigation, even if it means jeopardizing her own career. At the same time, President Sheridan, Delenn, Emperor Londo, and Jakar have arrived on the station. Fan-favorite characters had been called to mediate a dispute between 4 warring races. Once again, Diane encounters the cloaked man from Mars. He is revealed to be Galen, a technomage, and one of the few left of his kind in this sector of space. Galen is tasked with tracking down all leftover advanced alien technology from the devastating Shadow War, an intergalactic conflict that had ended a few years earlier. Realizing that their 2 missions are the same, Galen and Diane team up and they expose that an alien race called the Desaud have been illegally selling leftover shadow technology to various alien races. Hermes, Diane's brother's ship, had run into one of these illicit dealings and was destroyed to protect the Desaud's secret. The duo also discovered that Earth Force had covered up the destruction of the Hermes to conceal the fact that they too were one of the Desaud's customers. To prevent anyone else from getting their hands on the highly advanced technology, Galen and Diane traveled to its source in order to destroy it. Meanwhile, the Desaud launched an assault on the station, letting loose killer drones whose sole purpose is to eradicate everyone on Babylon 5. In a race against the clock, Characters such as Sheridan, Delenn and Lockley have to defend themselves from the killer robots, while Diane and Galen try and destroy the drone's power source before it is too late. Naturally, our heroes succeed in their task, and peace is restored to Babylon 5. The movie ends with President Sheridan offering Diane a job hunting down other leftover shadow technology. To help her with the task, she offers her a ship to use, the Excalibur, which is the ship from the Crusade series. So what happened to this movie? Before I tell you, if you have enjoyed this video so far, then please give the like. That would tell the YouTube algorithm to show this video to more people, and that really helps my channel out. Thank you. Anyway, everything seemed to be going along smoothly for Memory of Shadows, but behind the scenes, things had started to go wrong. The sudden death of Richard Biggs, who played Dr. Franklin in the show, in May of 2004, took the wind out of the sails of many who worked on the project. The bigger problem, however, was that financially, the movie wasn't completely secure. Warner Brothers' position was that they were only going to do a big budget movie like The Memory of Shadows if there would be big names to go along with that budget. Reportedly, Warner's execs were interested in recasting some of the original Babylon 5 characters, with actors whom the studio thought could lure in audiences who weren't necessarily fans of or even familiar with the original series. Whether or not a refusal to recast or something else was the cause, a deal with which all sides were happy could not be reached. By early 2005, Straczynski had to announce to fans that the project had dead ended. This will be the last major attempt to keep Babylon 5 going, until 2021 came around, and Straczynski announced that Babylon 5 will be rebooted, but that's a story for another time. I am CaptRobau, and that was the story of Memory of Shadows, the undeveloped Babylon 5 theatrical movie. What do you think? Has it been a worthwhile addition to the Babylon 5 universe, or was it better that this film was never made? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to explore more undeveloped concepts like this one, click one of the videos on screen.